Reach behind you, press the very base of your spine. Right there at the bottom is a small knot of bone. That's your tailbone. And the name is not a joke, it is the leftover stump of a real tail, the one your ancestors used to have. Look around at the rest of the animal world. Monkeys have tails, cats, dogs, lizards, fish, all of them. But somewhere far back in time, your line lost its own. It is one of the strangest facts about your body, and you have probably never once thought about it. So what happened to your tail? The answer is stranger than you'd guess. It may have been a genetic accident, one that helped make you what you are. Let's clear up two things you might believe. First, that humans never had tails at all. Second, that we lost them so we could walk upright. Both are wrong. You did have a tail, and losing it had nothing to do with walking, because here's a secret about your own beginning. For a few weeks before you were born, you had a tail, a real one. Under a microscope, it is unmistakable, a little curl of tissue tapering to a point exactly where a tail should be. Around week 4 in the womb, a human embryo grows a small tail with tiny vertebrae. And then a few weeks later, the body reabsorbs it. It's pulled back in, dissolved, folded away. What's left behind is that little knot at the base of your spine. You didn't just descend from tailed ancestors. You were briefly one yourself. For a short window in the womb, you and a tadpole were not so different. Now it's tempting to call the tailbone useless, a leftover, a mistake. But that's not quite fair. Your coccyx still does a job. It anchors muscles, tendons, and ligaments. It helps support your weight when you lean back and sit. Without it, sitting, balancing, and even using the bathroom would all work a little differently. It's a relic, yes, but a relic your body still puts to work. So who actually lost the tail and when? Here's the surprise, it wasn't a human. It happened long before anything like us existed. The animals we call apes, that includes gibbons, gorillas, chimps, and you all share one ancestor who lost the tail. And that happened around 25 million years ago. Monkeys kept their tails, apes did not. In fact, no tail is one of the great dividing lines between them. You belong forever to the branch that let the tail go. Think about that for a moment. Every tailed monkey you have ever seen sits on a different branch of the family than you. The last of your ancestors to have a working tail lived an almost unimaginable distance in the past. But why did it go? For a long time, that was a mystery. Then, in 2024, a team of scientists found a stunning possible answer. It comes down to a single piece of restless DNA. Your genome is full of little mobile fragments that copy and paste themselves around. One of them is called an Alu element, and a long time ago, one of these jumping fragments landed inside a gene. The gene is called TBXT, a master switch involved in building the tail. That insertion garbled the instructions. Imagine a single typo dropped into the middle of a crucial manual. Suddenly, the line that says, "Build a tail here," no longer makes sense. The body reads the broken instruction, and the tail never fully forms. The researchers led by Bo Shi proposed that this one accident may have switched the tail off. Not a plan, not a purpose, a copy-paste error in the code of life that erased an entire body part. And this is where it gets even stranger. When the team recreated a version of that change in mice, the mice were born with shortened or missing tails, just as expected. But something else showed up too. A small rise in neural tube defects problems in how the spine closes. It hints that losing the tail may have come at a cost. A cost, some think, humans might still quietly pay today. To be clear, that link comes from mice, and it's still being studied. But it paints a haunting picture. The same accident that took your tail may have left a lasting mark on the human spine. In other words, erasing the tail may not have been entirely free. It may have nudged the odds of certain spinal problems slightly upward and left that legacy running quietly through our species ever since. So why did this tailless body stick around? Not to be clear, so your ancestors could walk. Upright walking came tens of millions of years later. The likelier story is quieter. In big tree-climbing apes that held their bodies upright in the branches, a tail mattered less. Losing it wasn't a fatal problem. And once the change took hold in a small population, it simply stayed. Evolution does not aim for perfect. It keeps whatever works well enough to survive and reproduce. The tail didn't leave because it had to. It left, and there was no strong reason to bring it back. And here's the eerie part. The blueprint for a tail never fully disappeared. It's still written in your DNA, just switched off. For almost everyone, that switch stays firmly off, and we never know the old blueprint is there at all. Very rarely, a baby is born with a small, soft tail at the base of the spine. A faint echo of a body plan your ancestors abandoned tens of millions of years ago. The instructions are still in there. They're just almost always kept silent. You can feel this ancient history in your own body. The sharp jolt of pain when you fall and land on your tailbone. That's you slamming down on the ghost of a tail. The muscles it still anchors. The weeks in the womb you spent with one. That tail isn't gone from you. It's just written in the past tense. So reach back and touch that little knot of bone one more time. You didn't throw away a tail to become human. A random accident tens of millions of years ago quietly rewrote your ancestors' bodies. Long before the first stone tool, before fire, before your kind even had a name, a slip in a strand of DNA decided you would never have a tail. And every one of their descendants, all the way to you, was born without a tail because of it. That small bump at the base of your spine isn't a flaw. It's a fossil. One you carry with you every single day without ever noticing it's there.